Welcome to Design Domination, where you'll gain confidence, clarity, and a competitive edge in a crowded marketplace so you can dominate your competition. Hi, and thanks for tuning in. I'm Colleen Gratzer, and in this episode of Design Domination, I'm talking about accessibility statements. Wait, don't go away. I know that sounds really boring, but stick around to find out why websites should have one, what it should include, how to create one, and I'll give you lots of examples of accessibility statements. Now, I want to start off by saying, of course, I'm not a lawyer, so none of this is legal advice, okay? Let's talk first about what is an accessibility statement. An accessibility statement lets website users know an organization's overall position about accessibility and the state of their website. Some accessibility lawyers, such as Lainey Feingold and Chris Rivenberg, have said in the past that an accessibility statement is really good practice and may help ward off lawsuits. Lainey Feingold said on her website, "I believe that posted accessibility pages help organizations avoid legal action, so long as there's an active phone number and email address, and site visitors get prompt and positive responses to feedback." Now, the other purpose of an accessibility statement is to express an organization's commitment to accessibility and to show website users that they care about accessibility and the users who need it. What an accessibility statement is not is a promise that everything is going to be perfectly accessible to everyone and at all times. So don't think that you have to first go and make a website accessible to put up an accessibility statement. In fact, run, don't walk, and do it now. So what should an accessibility statement say? Again, I'm not a lawyer, and some organizations may need to have certain elements included in an accessibility statement. But generally speaking, an accessibility statement usually talks about the organization's commitment to accessibility. It states the level of WCAG conformance that the organization is aiming for, such as WCAG 2.2 AA. It notes any accessibility or browser-related issues that have been identified, and if those issues are in the process of being fixed. It also might state what the organization is doing to ensure ongoing accessibility, such as doing periodic automated checks, or having annual audits done, or user testing. And then contact information for the individual or the department that's going to handle any issues that users report. Now, the accessibility statement should be updated as needed. So, for example, for organizations that I've done audits for, I usually tell them to update their accessibility statement to say, hey, we had an audit done on such and such date, and then which conformance level that was to, again, like WCAG 2.1 or 2.2 AA, and then any extra steps that may have been taken as well. And then I also suggest that they have it reviewed by their lawyer. And speaking of lawyers, we know they love legalese, but the accessibility statement should be easy for users to understand. So it should be written in simple language, just in plain English. Not legalese, and not necessarily getting into various technical WCAG information either. I mean, if the guidelines make your eyes glaze over, how do you think the everyday non-technical user would feel? Okay, so then where do you put an accessibility statement? Well, typically it's on its own page, like not buried in the content of another page, like a privacy policy or another page on the site, right? And it should be easy to find on the website. Usually you'll find an accessibility statement in a link in the footer of a website. All right, let's take a look at some examples of website accessibility statements. And I'm not suggesting at all that you model any of these, okay? But let's just take a look at them and see what they each include. Okay, so the European Union website links to their accessibility statement in the footer in a section called Legal. The accessibility statement starts by mentioning that it applies only to this domain. And it then talks about what users should be able to do on the website. It mentions the law and the level of WCAG conformance, compliance status as partial, and the date it was last tested, how to contact them, compatibility with browsers and assistive technology, and a list of accessibility issues they've identified and are working to fix, and then when they plan to have fixed some of these issues. Okay, let's look at the Town of Ocean City, Maryland website. Okay, the accessibility statement is easily found in the footer. So let's see what it says. Well, they start off by saying, if you use assistive technology such as a braille reader or a screen reader, and the format of any material on this website interferes with your ability to access information, please contact us. Okay, but what about sighted keyboard users? They don't necessarily use assistive technology. Okay, then they state the law, Section 508, and the level of conformance that are aiming for, which is WCAG 2.0 AA. They go on to list built-in browser accessibility tools, but I would think that if someone needs one of them, they would already be using that, right? Or they'd be using assistive technology or something with their operating system. But okay, then they say that Adobe Reader, that should really say Adobe Acrobat Reader, that's needed to read their PDFs and where to download it. And then finally, a list of supported assistive technology, screen readers, and keyboard navigation. Now that's interesting. They mentioned keyboard navigation because the website skip link doesn't work. So sighted keyboard users have to tab through the entire menu and then tab all the way down the page. And not only that, but they can't see where they are on the page because the focus state has been removed. I've since contacted them about this and I've told them how to fix it. So maybe it will get fixed soon. We'll see. Let's take a look at the website of a big company, Black & Decker. Okay, their accessibility statement is also easy to find in the footer. It talks about their commitment, level of conformance, how they're ensuring accessibility, and contact information. Okay, now let's see what Lainey Feingold does on her site. Her accessibility statement talks about the site meeting WCAG 2.2 AAA, other than some pages do not meet the AAA reading requirement, and the ongoing efforts to ensure accessibility that she has made over time. Okay, now as for writing an accessibility statement, it's not hard, and you don't have to start from scratch either, but you will need to ask your clients a few questions first. Okay, there's also some good resources to help you create an accessibility statement, although you, again, might want to have a lawyer review it at some point. Some of these resources include Equalize Digital's Accessibility Checker plugin for WordPress, which will help you draft a statement. The W3C has an accessibility statement generator, the gov.uk site, and then Site Improve. Okay, so that sums up an accessibility statement. Hopefully that wasn't too painful. And if this was helpful, please help me out by giving this a like and a share. And of course, subscribe so you get notified of new content. If this content was helpful, you can support the podcast by buying me a coffee. It might actually end up being a glass of wine or some tea, but you can go to buymeacoffee.com/creativeboost.